woohoo, another race swap I guess, but anyways, overall the
Oh my
flashback
God.
is fine, but it's mostly there to show how generational trauma works in family units. And look, I know all about generational trauma, alright? I used to have a weird uncontrollable fear that came out of nowhere around 2016 when I had a nervous breakdown when I worked at a retail store when I was younger. It was Boxing Day, I was behind the cash register in 2015, and I saw all the people pouring in to buy all the things they wanted. I felt like my life was going nowhere, and I physically felt a muscle in my brain on the right side of my head literally snap. And
What the fuck is going on?
after that, my whole mood and body went into free fall. I felt sick, tired, scared. It was uncontrollable. I actually went home that day despite my manager being obviously against it, and then following that, for some reason, I couldn't get into vehicles. A car, a train, bus, doesn't matter. I tried them all. Every time after a minute or two, I had to exit the vehicle because I felt like I was actually dying.
What the fuck has this got to do with the game? Or generational trauma? What the fuck is... Hold up. I'm sure he's gonna fucking...
Eventually, 2017 or so, I saw a therapist for all of this. I talked to her and she asked about my family history. I told her that my grandfather, who I never met, he died before I was born, was in the Holocaust. He survived all sorts of unthinkable things. He was an Armenian carpenter who spoke many different languages too. Then the therapist saved me when she told me about generational trauma, and this will tie to the game, I promise. Which is also what's in this episode and what The Last of Us deals with as well. She alluded that
Dude, you are way off. And so is your fucking therapist.
That generational trauma can exist through your DNA, and that your fears and worries can transfer from family member to the next generation.
What about generational bliss and happiness? Does that transfer over as well? You fucking idiot.
Connected that my fear of travel via things like vehicles may be tied to none other than my very grandfather, because he was also transferred to death camps via cars, trains, and buses, and his fear not knowing if he would live or die terrified him down to his bones. And I mean, who could blame him during that time, right? So she connected that the fear of travel via vehicles that I couldn't really explain myself was because that trauma was not my trauma but my grandfather's instead, and that I was holding on to this trauma that he passed on to me because of what happened to him during World War II through his genes. And that I realized in that moment that how
I've realized in this moment that I've wasted 9 minutes of my fucking life.